Yeah. Hello. Hello everyone. During previous video, we have seen Pirani gauge and McLeod vacuum pressure gauge. Uh, now we will see uh, thermocouple type conductivity gauge. It is one of the types of thermal conductivity gauges. Thermal conductivity means the amount of heat that is or the disturbance conducted or the heat conducted from one point to the other point within a substance, that is thermal conductivity. Here in thermocouple type conductivity gauge, we are having a thermocouple. A filament is here. You have an applied pressure. No. Okay. Coming to the basic principle of thermocouple type conductivity gauge is depending on the density of the material will be in contact with the gas will be in contact with the conductor. Greater the greater the contact with the surface, greater will be the thermal dissipation, heat dissipation. When heat dissipation is more, the temperature of this filament will be less. Means the variation in the temperature of this is less. When the variation is less, temperature is less, the resistance variation will also be less. But depending upon the change in resistance, the pressure of the particular applied pressure fluid is determined. Change in resistance variation in the resistance will give you the pressure of developed by this unknown medium. So finally, the basic principle is uh, that the gas which is entering into this chamber with the density great density with a density, so the density is getting converted to thermal conductivity, density to thermal conductivity to resistance change to pressure measurement. So overall we need to uh, we need to be very careful to find out the temperature change of this one. So the resistance change here, it is not a matter here, but because of the resistance change, uh, the temperature will also vary. When the temperature is changing, because of the heat dissipation, temperature is changing. When the temperature is changing, the thermocouple which is fixed on the filament, that will record the in its circuit, that will record whatever the voltage or the current that is passing through the circuit. So based on the current passed through the circuit, uh, the pressure of applied measurand will be known. Say here in this, so previously in Pirani gauge, it is the resistance change because it is the Wheatstone bridge. When Wheatstone bridge is there, resistance variation is determined by using it. So this resistance variation is in turn used to find out the temperature, the pressure. In the case of thermocouple type of conductivity gauge, we need to determine the temperature of this resistance, and this temperature is determined by using a thermocouple. So this can be done with the help of a thermocouple type conductivity gauge. In this type of gauge, let us see the construction. Coming to its construction, applied, you are having a chamber here, a separate chamber. This chamber, it is made up of some insulating materials. because we have some electrical supplies here. You have a battery and a rheostat supply here, and on the other hand, we have also the thermocouple arrangement on the left side. So this arrangement is it is like electricity is passing through the circuits definitely. So that is why this chamber must be insulated properly and perfectly such that the applied pressure, either the applied pressure should not uh, affect these walls, or the applied or from outside we may not get any other disturbances. So for that purpose we require a proper insulation chamber, because the heat dissipation should take place only to the fluid, not to the chamber, and this chamber must be thermally, it should not a thermal conductor, because if it is a thermal conductor, good thermal conductor, that heat will be given to this material. When so there might be losses or errors we can find by use because if it is a thermal conductor, the chamber is made up of a thermal conductor, it should be an insulator only, electrical as well as thermal insulator chamber, and into which this applied pressure will enter in, or the gas enters in. Now that is the basic principle. Coming to operation, when this chamber is uh, faced to the measure end, when it is faced to the measure end, and the air will enter into, or the gas will enter into this chamber based upon, no, when we bring this to the atmosphere whose vacuum is to be determined, uh, the gas or the fluid enters into this chamber depending upon the density of the material. The surface of this filament will be in contact with the material. If the greater the density, greater will be the surface contact. If lesser the density, lesser will be the surface contact. So depending upon the surface contact, uh, the, the density, depending on the density, the surface contact will vary. That's the first point. And second point, next we allow this battery to switch on, and we we are having a rheostat here for adjusting the resistance of the circuit. Otherwise, this may fuse out. For that purpose, we have used a rheostat. We can adjust the resistance, and we allow the current to. We have an ammeter to check the current passing through it. We have a high power supply here, battery. Then we will switch on this battery, and electricity began to move through the circuit. Because of this electricity for a long time enters into through passes through this filament, will produce heat transfer, will produce heated, it will get heated. So that is q is equals to, or h is equals to I square r t. I square, I is the current supplied, r is the resistance of this filament, t is the time period to which the current is passing through this filament. On the other side, it is thermocouple is also operated to check the initial temperature conditions before we allow this gas entering into this chamber. The thermocouple is operated to check the temperature, initial temperature of the filament. Now as soon as this gas enters into this one, into this chamber, the density variation lead to change in temperature, because greater the density, greater will be the surface contact. When surface contact is greater, the thermal conductivity of thermal dissipation of heat from this filament into this fluid through convection method of heat transfer uh, will be more. If the density is more, thermal conductivity is more, temperature variation is less. Based on that temperature variation, less temperature variation, the density of the material is determined, analyzed, and finally this change in temperature is calibrated to determine the pressure, the vacuum pressure of applied measurand. Coming to its advantages, coming to its applications, it is used to measure low and ultra vacuum, low and ultra vacuum pressures. Next, and they are uh, very less vacuums, less pressures are determined with the help of this thermocouple type conductivity gauge, such as the values like 10 to the power of minus 7 Newton per meter square, such a less values, lower values of pressure, that is vacuum pressure, is determined with the help of this thermocouple type conductivity gauge. Now, coming to advantages, they are rugged and inexpensive, and the relationship between pressure and temperature is linear, uh, and it is easy to use. See here, the temperature change, and for the temperature change, how the pressure is changing, it is linearly they are changing. For this change, yeah, we are getting some linear curves. So in this time, after number of repeated experiments, they have calibrated for temperature values. For the change in these temperature values, what is the change in the pressure? So temperature change in this thermocouple. So how we determine temperature change in thermocouple? Depending upon the voltmeter, here voltmeter reading. So if the voltmeter reading is changing, we should assume that the temperature is also changing. When the temperature is changing, we should assume that the pressure is changing, density is changing, and density is changing, so pressure say that the pressure is high. So it is a link depending on the instruments, because the thermocouple principle is like that, where um, uh, two dissimilar materials are linked and maintained at two different junctions. One is hot junction, other one is cold junction. So the EMF is induced in this one. So this here it functions as a hot junction, and the cold junction is fixed here. It is already fixed cold junction with the ice bath. So the temperature is known here. Only the temperature change here, it is this filament temperature change. It is a hot junction. When this is a hot junction for the thermocouple, then you will find a voltage difference, or you will find an EMF, induced EMF in this circuit. So that EMF is recorded in a millivoltmeter. When this voltage is recorded in this millivoltmeter, depending on the voltage changes or voltage differences, the temperature is calibrated. When temperature is of this particular material is changed, is determined, temperature change is determined. So this temperature change is because of the applied pressure, because how in turn this applied pressure will cause the change in density of this material. That is the reason why, so the temperature of this filament will change. So based on this, we determine the pressure of an applied measurand. So this is the principle and the basic uh, uh, operation that takes place. And coming to limitation, see, as we discussed, in order to reduce the fuse outs or burnouts of this filament, we need to adjust rheostat in a proper way. If the resistance in the filament is not given in a certain set value, then this filament will get burn off. So this type of maintenance is required Observations and maintenance are required continuously, such that the filament will not get burned off, and they must be calibrated. This instrument must be calibrated for different types of gases. It is not only one gas, different types of gases. This instrument must be calibrated. And one more limitation here, it is this equipment is a passive type. It is not an active type here. It is requiring double excitation energies here, in my view, because one energy is the electrical supply for one equipment, that is resistance. So electrical supply is required here. So one more energy is also required here, that is a thermocouple to measure the temperature. So twice the measurements are required here. Twice the energy sub applications are required here. So it is an expensive one, because the power is getting used in both the directions here, either in this circuit, filament circuit, or it may be in the case of this thermocouple. The energy, the expansions are getting more. So as a result, uh, I conclude that this is one of the limitation, that it is a costlier one. So electrical power supply is must required for this type of operation. Now we enter into the next type of gauge, a pressure gauge, vacuum pressure gauge, that is ionization gauge. Ionization gauge means we might have learned or listened about, heard about uh, a topic called as photoelectric effect. We have heard already. Photoelectric effect means when when a light with emits a radiation with certain frequencies, which is going to hit a conductor, the valence electrons from this conductor will get emitted. Valence electrons will get emitted depending upon threshold frequency of the coming wave. Now, the applied pressure is what we are going to use now. The applied pressure is what we are going to use now here. So in this case, the basic principle here involved here, it is the photoelectric effect, electric effect we call. That is when a uh, light, when a light with a specified frequency passed over a conductor or a metallic plate like cesium, the outermost electrons will get emitted, and outermost electrons will get emitted, and this that is what is the basic principle. So depending upon the intensity of the rays that are coming, or intensity of the atoms that are coming from light, is nothing but photons, energy packets. It is not only a energy form, it is a packet we are having. So when that photons are coming and attacking on the outermost electrons, the electrons are getting emitted here. So the same principle used here is the gas which is with high pressure. If it is having high pressure, greater the pressure, greater will be the electricity, electrons emitted. Lesser the pressure, lesser will be the density, lesser will be the electrons emitted, depending upon the electrons emitted here and the output signal, the recorded current value in the output signal. uh, Here this is an input signal here, but depending upon the output signal values, uh, then we will come to a conclusion that whether the applied pressure applied will be having a high pressure or a low pressure. Yeah, coming to the operation of this ionization gauge, we allow this gauge to be uh, to the atmosphere whose pressure is to be determined, the vacuum or the gas whose pressure is to be determined. So that gas enters into this plate with a pressure, and this plate will eject the electrons, and this will become a negative shade here, and this is a cathode here. So electrons will travel from here to here, and this will be uh, checked with this heater supply, and depending on the load, heater depending on the number of electrons that are emitted through the plate, you will find the electricity in the circuit. So based on this electricity, intensity of the based on the value of electricity here. So it is calibrated to the determine the pressure. So the electrons which are coming out of this plate will collide with the gas that is coming here, and it will produce, this cathode will produce some gases, that is ionization of the gases will take place, and these gases are attracted to the cathode. This it will generate the gases, ionized gases, and this cathode will absorb these ionized gases and will be a part of the circuit. When it is in the part of the circuit, depending upon the current uh, developed in the circuit, will be calibrated to determine the pressure. So finally, what here it is, actually the first step is the pressure to be measured is connected to the chamber. The gas whose pressure is to be measured, first of all, it is connected to the chamber. And the second point, the grid draws electrons from the cathode. This grid draws electrons from the cathode, and these electrons collide with the gas molecules which are entered into this, thereby causing ionization of the gas molecules. Ionization of the gas molecules. So the basic principle involved here is ionization of this process of knocking off an electron from an atom, and thus producing free electrons and positively charged ions. Producing free electrons and positively charged ions by knocking off this gas with electrons and producing a positively charged ions. And those positively charged molecules are then attached to the plate, that is anode. These positive charges will be attached to the plate, that is anode, causing the uh, current flow in the external circuit. It will cause the current flow in this external circuit depending upon the magnitude of the current flowing through the external circuit. So we determine the applied pressure. Coming to its advantages, the measurement can be done at a distance. So we at some far away distance also we can measure the value for this pressure, and so its responsiveness is good. It have high good sensitivity, because for small change in the gas supply will lead to the change in the current that is passing through the external circuit. Uh, and limitations, the filament burn out quickly. So the filament that is used to create the electrons will burn out quickly, and the filament temperature should be controlled properly. Filament temperature should be controlled properly, and it must be calibrated for different gases. Next, it must be such that for different gases, their ionization is known. Based on that, ionization energy is required for the supply of ionization energy. we should require the analysis of different gases. Some gases must get decomposed due to the hot filament. Because of this hot filament, the gases may it will get decomposed. Decomposed means it will get destructed. It will get all atoms will get destructed because of this heater. We are having a filament here, this heater here. So this heater is a main cause to generate the electrons. Now, so these are the limitations, and one more limitation: it is not an active type; it is passive type. So much of electrical energy is required. Electrical supply is required to find out the pressure that is produced here. So, so this is how the ionization gauge will work. Coming to the last type of pressure gauge, that is bulk modulus pressure gauge. So it is used to determine high pressures. Coming to the basic principle here, it is greater the pressure, greater the density, the change in resistance is also different. Through the current carrying coil, you will find the change in temperature, and when the temperature changes, the resistance will also change. When this change in resistance is a measure to determine the pressure of the medium, this applied medium. Here, coming to this basic principle: when an electric conductor is subjected to direct pressure, this electric conductor is subjected to a direct pressure, applied pressure, its resistance changes. The conductor resistance changes. It is discussed previously. Now, this change in resistance becomes a measure of the applied pressure when calibrated. So this change in resistance is a measure of applied pressure when calibrated. So this is the basic principle here. Now coming to its parts, you are having a housing here. This is a kerosene filled bellow. Bellow is used here, and this is a resistance gauge, loosely wound coil sensing element. A loosely wound coil, which is a sensing element, and this is a chamber here, and it is connected to the terminal. This is an insulation. Now coming to its the main parts here, we are having the housing with the chamber. One end of this chamber is opened to receive the applied pressure. One end of the chamber is opened to receive the applied pressure here, and inside the chamber is placed a sensing element. Inside the chamber, we are having a sensing element. See, this is sensing element, which is a resistance gauge, loosely wound coil, which is loosely wound coil of fine wires. Loosely wound coil of fine wires. Next, the terminals of the sensing element is taken outside here. So the sensing coil terminals is taken outside to check uh, in the Wheatstone bed. Next, so this applied pressure, it is separated with a applied pressure is separated with a bellow. It is filled with some kerosene. Kerosene is a damping medium. It will not cause any destruction over. In order to not to get destructions, we are using a medium, a oil like thing. Here it is kerosene. It is used here. That is a fluid. So such that so this bellow will not get destructed. So it will be acting a resistance. It will give some add up some strength to the bellow. So even though we are having a kerosene here, but depending on the resistance change, we will determine uh, the overall pressure that is acting. It is used to determine high pressures. The application is for high pressures. Fine. Now coming to its operation, the pressure to be measured is applied to the chamber. Due to the applied pressure, the bellows and hence the kerosene in the bellows tends to get compressed. Here this bellows and the kerosene that is present here, it will get tends to compressed. So due to this bulk compression of the bellows and the kerosene, bulk compression of the bellows and the kerosene, the resistance of the electrical conductor changes. So the resistance of the electrical conductor changes. So this change in the resistance of the sensing element is this change in the resistance of the sensing element will be a measure to determine the pressure. So there is a bulk change in the resistance due to the change in due to the movement in this bellow and the kerosene. They will get compressed. Because of this compression, you will get a change in the uh, resistance of the material. So finally, the only one application here it is used to measure very high pressures. So this bulk modulus type pressure gauge is used to determine very high pressure. So here what is happening, compression is taking place. Because of compression, how the resistance is changing due to uh, the change in bulk modulus here. The bulk modulus here it is sigma by change in volume. The volume is getting changed. Sigma is stress by change in volume. If the greater the change in volume, lesser will be the bulk modulus. If the volume is so lesser the bulk modulus, then so it is in turn it is affecting the resistance of this conductor overall. So when the resistance of this material is changing, that will be a measure to determine the pressure of the applied measurand.